Okay, Coach. We will start with Kent. Go ahead, Kent.
Coach, you just have to be happy with which is the way your offense operates. You had 24 assists on 28 made baskets. The ball movement was amazing. He's talk about, I mean, after a slow start, obviously in the first quarter, how you guys into gear.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you said it well. I thought that the first quarter wasn't how we, had hoped to come out, and it was brought to their attention. And, I just thought we found a flow with our offense, and we've been sharing the ball. And, you get someone like Shepherd, who can penetrate. And if you help a little bit, then she can find shooters. Just thought she was really key. She had 13 rebounds, she had 5 assists. I just thought the balance, that's what we're really pleased with, was the balance. Two of the starters, for the better part of the night, struggled. I thought, Dantas made a couple shots, which was great. But our bench was what helped us get separation. And I thought we shared the ball well tonight.
Just talk about the efficiency and spark that Natalie brought to you. I mean, she was only able to play 18 minutes, first game since May 8th, but boy, she made good use of those 18 minutes.
She did. Natalie, Natalie's impact on the game was what we always say about Natalie. The pace that she does things, the intensity, the intentional nature to what she's doing. She gives us great flow when you play with her. She directs really well. And obviously her ability to make some shots at the rim, I think kind of really built her confidence. Her play was, I told her she was player of the game. Her play was really pivotal for us.
Be more pleased with the fact that you guys kind of broke out offensively and had some balance. I mean, hit some threes after the first half, or the fact that you held Phoenix under 40% shooting.
It's going to be the latter, because it does translate. When you're able to play off misses, everybody knows that. Since 2011, we were 135-5 when we hold our opponents to below 40%. So that will always be my favorite stat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jack, go ahead.
Was hoping you'd have that ready. But it really started with that second quarter, Cheryl. You guys defensive rebound percentage over 80 in that quarter, and took them to the paint, 18-4 in the paint in that quarter. What really stood out to you about the way that that you guys played that allowed you to get into the paint and have success there?
Again, I thought, and we've been finding success in our pick and roll game. We did it in Seattle, particularly in the first half. We did it in Vegas, again, particularly in the first half. It's been good offense for us. And I think we're just really starting to understand where the opportunities are. And so I thought our movement behind a roller, I thought our making the next pass, I thought we'd attack some closeouts well. I just thought overall we had good pace and good connection, which is something that's been growing for us. You have to communicate on offense just as much as you got to communicate on defense. And I thought we've been pretty connected overall. Like you said, minus the first quarter. This is how we've been playing, and so I'm really happy for our locker room for it to translate into a W for us.
Yeah, and I think Kayla and Natalie really set the tone moving off ball. You guys only had 4 live ball turnovers really before the game was decided. Just was this cutting off of Natalie in the high post off Mo on her baseline drives really kind of what you had envisioned for what the offense could look like once Sil went down? For
sure. Yeah, that's what we were saying. You have space, you can open the floor. We want to kind of continue some of this with, when Sil's back, because Sil's a very capable away from the basket handler. So I just think we're getting a little more comfortable. We're settling in a little bit. But yeah, I think when you have an open, like most teams, when you don't have a great center like Sylvia Fowles, you're playing open post. And tonight is sort of what the benefits are.
And then lastly, you allowed all sorts of dribble penetration in that first quarter.
Yeah.
Skylar kind of got going, allowed 8 points in the paint in the first quarter, but allowed 12 the rest of the game. What do you think changed, especially with your perimeter defense, that helped keep guards out of the paint?
I'm not so sure that it really ever, particularly on Skylar, she had 25. I'm not so sure it really ever got to the place that we needed to get to with her. Phoenix isn't a big score points in the paint kind of a team. They're definitely more of a 3-ball team. I don't want to give up. I mean, we gave up 33s. They made 10. Diana's not going to shoot 30% from three very often. So we've got to really look at it and clean up, exactly. We changed the scheme about 4 times in Skylar's actions. And we just never, I don't think ever really got it right. So that will be something we have to clean up for our second matchup with them on Thursday.
But you've got to be pleased with defensive rebounding despite 33s. It was the highest defensive rebounding percentage game of the year.
Yeah, and we did it against Vegas. We out rebounded them. I think it was like 11 or 12 by double figures. And so, yes, that is a key to winning. It's a possession game, and things that we have to clean up. As I told them, I don't want them to accept mismanagement of end of quarters. I don't want them to accept that when you have a favored jump ball that we don't get the jump ball. If you really want to win and be a special team, it comes down to making sure the possessions you're supposed to have you get. And so, I think overall, obviously we're pleased and the locker room is happy. And we worked for it. We still know that there are things that we have to get better at, when we play these guys on Thursday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions for Coach?
I had one last one. I guess with Mo, I mean, especially since she came back from that brief injury, she really seems to be finding a comfort zone in terms of finding her spots, getting to her spots, but also setting up her teammates. Another 9 assists tonight.
Yeah.
Very, even though she was 3 for 8, I thought it was a very efficient night. You just talk about, I mean, is it just acclimating now, getting to know teammates better? Is it confidence? I mean, what's going on with her?
I think all of that, really settled in. I know she always talked about that she felt, like it was home right away, but it's impossible to feel, connected and in a rhythm and, until you're actually in the trenches with people. And so now we've got that going for Mo and, and our synergy, between me and Mo and I know now where she needs to be challenged and pushed and to be better. And she's tough. She's mentally tough. She's been physically tough. I mean, she's not the biggest player on the court, but she puts her body on the line. So it's been, obviously that's been, her play has been really important for us.
Any more for Coach? All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks for staying up. See you guys.
Hey, Natalie.
Hi.
We'll get started right away here with Jack. Go ahead.
Hey, Natalie, welcome back. Good to see you. It looked like early in that second quarter, you and Rachel really found a good connection with the way that, you were able to move off the ball. I think you had a couple nice dives off of drives from BC and Rachel. Just how important is it for you to be able to move without the basketball? Just how much of a focus is that for you when you get in the game?
I've been very fortunate throughout my career to play with really great players, especially really great guards. So that is something that I learned early is that most of the time I'm going to have to do the work off the ball, or most of the time I'll have to set a great screen to get open. So those are things that I learned about the game really early. And honestly, half those times I'm diving, trying to sacrifice myself to kick it to the corner because we have such great shooters. So I think it's really just trying to do whatever my team needs, and has always been who I am as a player.
And Cheryl talked about how this was kind of what she envisioned once it went down, just to be able to play through the high post and get the ball to cutters off of you. Just how fun is it to be able to play with players like Kayla McBride that can just make your life easy, cutting back door and getting easy layups?
Yeah, I mean, the history between Kayla and I, we've played together since we were 17, 18 years old in college. So I think being able to come back to that and have that connection. And I remember coming up the court, I was like, Mariah, run 21, throw me the ball, and tell K-Mac to go back to her. Because I knew it was going to be open. I knew she would catch it. So, I mean, that's the easy part about my job, and especially coming back after this injury, is that I've played with these players for the most part. And so it took me a couple of practice just to get back in the flow of it. But we're able to play a different game when I'm in there and be able to distribute the ball.
And then lastly for me, just how gratifying was it for you to be able to make your return in a night like tonight, play really well, and most importantly, get a team win? I'm sure that the recovery wasn't super easy.
It definitely wasn't. From setbacks and from a mental and emotional standpoint, it was really hard. I worked really hard this offseason to come in ready in training camp, and then 3 games in to be able to or to get hurt was really heartbreaking for me and really hard through this process. So I'm just really thankful for my teammates and for Cheryl, and especially Chuck, our athletic trainer, for getting me back here. And it's always sweet when you get to get a win and a team win on your first game back.
Thank you, Natalie.
We'll go over to Kent. Go ahead.
And Natalie, after kind of a slow start in the first quarter, you guys really took a hold of this game. And I thought, I mean, you talked a little bit prior about the ball movement, but 24 assists on 28 baskets, that shows that something's going right with what you guys are doing. I mean, and you look at the balance that this team got in scoring tonight, the key contributions from so many people. Just talk about, what in your mind got this offense kind of moving so well tonight. Was it just getting stops at the other end, or what was it?
I mean, we're huge on our defense needing to lead to our offense. Besides Aerial Powers and sometimes Mariah Jefferson, we really don't have players that can go one-on-one and really break someone down. So our advantage is sharing the ball and getting people in the right spots and where they're effective. And so I think that's what we did today. And especially, I think they said we had 8 3-in-a-row stops. So being able to defend makes it easier in transition when you can just score layups and score quickly.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Natalie?
I just have one more thing to say if nobody has any questions. Especially being here in Phoenix, it's tough to not play against Brittany. It sucks for her to still be imprisoned, wrongfully detained in Russia. It's shitty. And it's a call to POTUS, to our VP, to the White House, to bring her home. I mean, she's an Olympian, an amazing competitor. As much as I hate playing against her, it feels wrong being here in Phoenix and not. So I think it's important. Write that before I win, that they need to bring Brittany home.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thanks, guys.
We'll start with Kent. Go ahead, Kent.
Frustrating as that 5-game losing streak was, this had to have been a very nice release to get that thing snapped tonight. And just talk about the way the offense kind of worked together tonight, especially after the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it was great having Ace back. I know everybody calls her Nat. I'll never do that. Her name is Ace. But it's great having Ace back because she's a ball mover, and I think that's what you saw a little bit more of. Just moving ball side to side. So I was really, really happy. I know she's had a long road to being back out there with us, so that helped a lot. It was great to have her back out there. We've been building on this. I thought we had a great game against Seattle. We went toe to toe with the best team in the league right now, which is Vegas. And it's really hard to win in this league. We've had our trials and tribulations, so it always feels good. We always want to celebrate these things, these wins, especially on the road. It's not easy. It's not easy. We play this team again in Minnesota in 48 hours, so we know how hard it is to get wins, and we'll celebrate this one, but it's back to work tomorrow. It's just one game, but it definitely feels good to be on the other side of the win column.
We'll go over to Jack. Go ahead.
Hey, Kayla, you talked about being able to build off of some of your previous performances, and we talk about how there's no moral victories, but obviously it's probably nice to see some linear progression and in the first quarter come out and take it on the chin, and then really just take over the game from there. Just what do you think allowed you guys to stay so locked in after a slow start in the fourth quarter, kind of get off the mat and throw some punches back?
Yeah, we came out flat, and that's on the starters to have a better start, especially on the road. We have to bring the energy for the first 5 minutes of the game, so that's on us. But we've battled. We've been battle tested throughout the first, what is this now, 17 games of the season. It hasn't been easy, and we're still growing, and looking in the mirror and trying to be a better version of ourselves, a better version of a team every single day. And it's not easy. Internally we're working through all the other things that go into winning. We're still learning how to win as a team. And today, in steps like this, when you have that feeling of winning and what it takes to win and how hard it is, you carry that into the growth that you're trying to have as a team. And I think we took great steps today. But they're just steps, and we still need to, get some more wins in the win column. That's what I want. I don't believe in moral victories. I mean, I do, but I don't. I want to win. So today feels good. I'm going to enjoy today, but know that we're building something bigger than just, you know, 140-minute game.
And Cheryl talked about, how she kind of had envisioned you guys being able to play off of passers in the high post and have baseline drivers and be able to cut off of that, at least without Sill out there. And you guys only had 4 live ball turnovers really before garbage time. Just what do you think enabled you guys to take such good care of the ball and keep it moving? I think you had 24 assists on 28 makes tonight.
Yeah, I see that. Like I said, it's great to have Ace back. In the high post, that's like her bread and butter. She loves being there. She floats around. She just moves the ball. She knows how the offense is supposed to move. Jess Shepard, Dee, having them back in the rotation fully and healthy, and even building Ace back into it, it helps us so much because that's what we're used to. We're used to the ball coming through the top of the key or the elbow and us being able to play off of that. And I thought that you saw a lot more of that. That's when it becomes fun. I think in the early part of the season, we're just so tight, especially on the offensive side. We've struggled a little bit. So having that freedom to move and freedom to cut and the ball moving side to side and the assist, that's who we want to be. So I had fun tonight out there with my teammates, and that's how it always should be on both ends of the floor. I thought we flew around. I think Sky got off. Obviously, Sky is going to be who Sky is, but I thought that collectively we did a good job, and that's something that we've been building on, especially defensively. The Seattle game, the Vegas game, well, whatever, but. It's just something that we're still learning about ourselves. But on offense, when you have that free flowing movement, it takes a little bit of pressure off our defense. I think we've been putting a lot of pressure on the offense in the last couple games. And I think today was kind of a good feeling for all of us to get our confidence back, because it wasn't just us, having I think it was 32 points something like that. A lot of points off the bench. That's a team effort. That's who we want to be, So I was really proud of just how we collectively got it done tonight.
And then you guys have struggled at different times this year against teams that shoot a lot of threes, not because all those threes go in, but because of second chance opportunities. But you guys had your best rebounding game of the year tonight, just in terms of percentage. How do you think you guys have grown as a team with rebounding? Because I know it's there's probably a lot of layers to that.
You know the drill, triangle rebounding? You know what I'm talking about? When you're in a triangle, one person at the free throw line. We do that every day. And the biggest thing with coaches is that we got to get excited to do things like this, the drills and things like that. And I think that's something that we've been carrying in practice that we want to carry over into games. I thought Jess has been the leader in that. She's been one of our anchors, especially on the defensive rebounding end. She's battling in there, like battling against the best of the best. Like now it's been Stewie, Asia, and now Breonna Turner. And she's going toe to toe rebounding wise, and that's what we need consistently. And then it trickles down into everybody else, and just having the will and understanding that we need to keep teams one and done. If we're going to build our defense the way we are 5-on-5, we have to finish plays. That's something we harp on in practice. Thankfully, we had some time last week or something like that we had a couple of days of practice. But just getting excited about the grind too. It's not easy. And I think that we've gotten more excited and confident in who we need to be, especially on the rebounding side of the ball. So I think that it's just kind of translating into the games right now, but we still have a long way to go.
Thanks, Kayla.
Any more questions for Kayla? Thank you, Kayla.